Hey, what is up, guys? Bluntguts here. This is a Watcher of Realms video. Thank you so much for tuning into my channel. Happy holidays to you. Merry Christmas to you. It is now officially Christmas where I am. About 35 minutes ago, everybody is sleeping, and I am making videos. Of course, why not, right? I'm a crazy person, but I have been working on a WUKONG Guild Boss 2 run, trying to max out my score in there. I was able to get up around 350,000 mech parts when I did my Guild Boss 2 testing a while back. Now, I wanted to see if I could exceed that. Honestly, I wanted to beat Fabu, because Fabu has the highest score that I've ever seen anyway. Around 419,000 mech parts is the highest one I think I've seen. Maybe he's gotten higher than that. I don't know. I wanted to see if I might be able to match that or even exceed that. So I put together a team on test. I do have everybody in my team is A5. Let's go take a look at what I put together. All right, guys. So this is the team that I did go with. Arbiter and Nightmare units in here, and pretty meta, honestly, on the global servers. It's not a huge amount of variation in here based on what you're going to see on global versus what I've got set up right here. One major difference, and one thing that I think did kind of hold me back, I have absolutely no Pantheon bonus here, which means I'm missing out on about 20% attack bonus, about 30% HP, and some rage regen. I've got about 40% rage regen on global. I think it's not about. I think it's exactly 40% rage regen on global servers right now, and so I had to compensate for that in my gearing. On top of that, I'm just kind of hamstrung with the gear a little bit. I got really good gear on here, but I don't have a huge variety of gears. I didn't have very many pieces of gear that had HP percent substats on it. So that is something that made my life a bit more difficult. I'm hoping to remedy that. I'm hoping that Moontown is going to provide me with some new stuff. I put the request in. We'll see whether or not that materializes. But for right now, this is the best that I could do. So I'm going to go through the team right here, and then I'm going to show you the run, which is very, very long. It took me about 50 minutes to actually do the run, so I'm going to be running it at 4 times speed, unfortunately. I will have the run divided up into, I'm thinking like into quarters, or I'll divide it by the overdrive levels. It did end up at overdrive 9 does seem to be where I hit a wall every single time. I don't know if there's anybody who has more experience running these high keys on the global servers that can give me some insight if that's something that they have found a way around. But I was getting basically one shot when I did get to overdrive 9, and that's where I couldn't really progress any further, which basically meant that this all became about maximizing the bonus damage time in between the different phases. And so that's kind of how I ran this. I was essentially saving cooldowns so that I could try to dump in as much damage in those damage boosted, intermissions as I possibly could. So this team here, obviously we've got Torador as the leader of the Nightmare faction. He is in there to take hits. He's in tank gear. We do have KIGIRI as well, who's obviously badass, really solid damage dealer. Lust is in here too. She's there to buff the other Nightmare units, but also to do some pretty solid damage herself. And then, of course, we've got the man of the hour, WUKONG, the monkey of the hour, WUKONG. He is just a consummate badass, and I love this hero. I can't wait until I have him on global servers. Only about 2 more days left. I will probably be doing my summons at 3 in the morning on Friday, which is when server does reset for me on the East Coast in the US. I've also got Elowen in here, obviously. Elowen at A5 is huge. I think that is really kind of the missing piece why I can't really progress all that much further on the global servers, because I don't have that bonus at A3 where she will start to remove debuffs, and that is just massive. Really, really helped me progress in this, minimize the damage, made it so that there were less and less units that needed to be healed up, even when there were they just received a full rack of poisons from the boss in phase 3. Moving over to the arbiters here, we've got Praetus, obviously as the lead here. No Alicia, not this time. We use Constance for inspiration. Did bring in it, and I was getting better results on the burst damage with him versus Alistair. I did try it with Volca as well. The problem with Volca was that I really only had room to bring in 4 Nightmare units. And I obviously was not going... I couldn't take out Torador. I obviously was not going to remove KIGIRI. I was not going to remove WUKONG, of course, because he's why I'm doing this video. And then I didn't want to remove Lust. I did try it without Lust. I tried Volca in there in place of Lust, and it resulted in less damage overall. So despite the fact that he brings, or she, I should say, brings those debuffs that you would think would be great for that intermission phase, and I think they are, I just couldn't find a way to make it work. But so in any case, I did bring in it, and it does some damage enhancing stuff. Solid job. And he also, of course, provided that decreased damage debuff to the boss, which was very, very important. Pharisee, we all know Pharisee is in there to mitigate that AoE damage, and Carnelian is there to prevent death. She is the goddess of death, or anti-death, I guess. I don't know. She didn't like it. She's not a fan. So she's not the goddess of death. She's the goddess of life, I guess. I don't know. It's late. I'm crazy. Let's go take a look at this run. I'm going to show you how it goes. Again, I am going to have it on 4x speed because it is 53 minutes long. I'm going to break it up in different parts, so you feel free to skip around however you like. At the end, I will just briefly discuss the results. I'm going to show you the gear, and I'm going to wish you a Merry Christmas. Let's get to the video. Well, there you have it, guys. 411,000 mech parts. Not too shabby, if I do say so myself. I take my hat off to Fabu because I couldn't quite get there. I know the last I saw, he was up at about 419, 420,000 mech parts on global servers. I have not been able to get there, and I have tried a bunch of times. I do think that if I had Pantheon and maybe just some more diverse gear, some more gear with HP substats on it, that I would be able to. But I had to compensate in certain areas with some gear that was not exactly ideal in order to make this work, so that I had enough HP to keep everybody alive up until that 9th overdrive phase. Now, as far as the damage is concerned here, Wukong is up at the top at 1.25 billion damage. We've got, which is crazy, we've got KIGIRI at 1.145 billion damage. Praetus is at 783 million damage. Lust is at almost 600 million damage. And then I can't see, this is a screenshot, so I can't scroll down just to show you, but I do believe that in it was between 350 and 400 million damage. In it is not in ideal gear at the end of the day. So I had to put him in a bunch of crit damage sets because those are the only Soulbound Arcana pieces that I had that did have any HP percent on them. And the same could be said for some of these other heroes as well. There are some pieces on here that I probably wouldn't have used, that would not have been my choices had I access to more diverse gear, gear that was more appropriately statted here. But you know, not too shabby at the end of the day. And everybody is A5, so I'm certainly not, you know, 411,000 mech parts is pretty. I'm pretty floored at that result. So I on global servers, up until a week ago when I started doing this, I had never pushed past 170K. I can't really get past that on my global account. So this was all kind of new to me, trying to figure this out, and it was a lot of fun, honestly. One thing that I will say, I wish it didn't take 40 minutes to an hour to do a run. Like, that would be nice. It drives me crazy because what I need to work on is the last like 2 minutes of that run, and having to go through 38 to 58 minutes in order to get there just kind of sucks. I don't know what the answer is to that. I know theoretically I should be able to do an auto run or something like that, but the team that you are going to use to try to get the highest score is probably not the same team that you'd use to put an auto run in place. You'd probably want to bring somebody like a Tasomi, who has more reliable cleansing for the group in order to make that work, and then you wouldn't be able to get as high as this. As far as the damage is concerned, I would not take these damage numbers to be representative of the capabilities of the heroes. I was using, if you go back and you watch the actual run itself, I was using the ultimates in here in a very odd way, because all I was really trying to do was maximize the damage in the in-between phases. So like as soon as we're transitioning from one phase to the other, the boss gets a 50% increase to damage taken from magic and physical damage. So I was waiting until we triggered that, trying to get Kigiri's attack bonus up, trying to save all of my, I'm trying to save Constance's inspiration, all this stuff, all of the ultimates to go off during that brief window of increased damage in order to try to boost my score up as high as possible. Because at the end of the day, the other times when you're just chewing away at the boss's health, those are not going to increase your score at all, because you have to chew through that health. You're progressing further in the fight will, but if you're getting capped at the same spot every single time, which I was, I almost made it through to the Aegis phase in Overdrive 9 in this run, but I was still about 5% away, and I just didn't have it in me to put more time in before Wukong does come. So I think in this kind of situation, despite the fact that Wukong is ahead right now, I do think that Kigiri, had I done things differently, I very easily could have shifted Kigiri ahead. I do know if you look at the global servers, you will see significantly higher damage on like Fabu's Kigiri, some of the other Kigiris that are out there. Largely that's because there is no Wukong, and you need to rely more heavily on Kigiri to do a bulk of the damage. Because I had both of them in there, I was able to kind of split between the two, and I think there's just much more damage in this comp than there would be in a comp like that. They still obviously have more than enough damage to make it through those phases, but if I was just going full burn on this the entire time, these numbers would look very differently, and I would probably get capped out around 350k, because that extra 50 to 60k mech parts that I did get is all because I was saving my cooldowns for the in-between times. So if you are looking to score high on Guild Wars 2, I do think that is a strategy that you should be using. That is kind of how you're going to max out your score. Unfortunately, the developers have not deigned to provide us with any kind of incentive to do that other than just pride, which, you know, hey, that's incentive enough for me, but it would be nice if there are some kind of rewards, weekly rewards for having the highest score or something like that, or I don't know, just something beyond the 120K would be nice, I think, because that is becoming, for endgame players anyway, is a very achievable number at this point, and I think that it would be nice to have an incentive, even a small incentive, to push higher. But in any case, guys, I am going to leave you with that. Merry Christmas to everybody. Happy holidays. I do hope you enjoyed this. Please do like and subscribe. If you want to give me a Christmas gift, hit that thumbs up button. Hit that subscribe button. It's a free way to support my channel. I would truly appreciate it. I hope you get what you want this year, both on the banners and on under your tree, or you know, on during Hanukkah or whatever holiday you do celebrate. I do hope you enjoy your time with your family and your friends. I will catch you all next time.